Good morning, guys. This is Eunice, and welcome to my channel. Welcome to the Charles Vintage Collection. Today, I'm going to be discussing jewelry. This is my second jewelry video, and we're going to be discussing material. And thank you for the comments, and thank you for the question. Someone seemed to be interested in making rings, and so far, so I'm going to share some things with you about that and everything, and hopefully can save you some money on your journey to making rings and so far. And this is if you are already a jewelry maker or you just starting out to be a jewelry maker. We discussed in the first video what kind of jewelry maker you want to be, and you can determine that. I will pinpoint that again at some points another in this video here. I don't want to keep it too long, but I do want to cover quite a bit of information for you and so forth, because we are jewelry makers. We love making jewelry. I am a reseller, and as I said before, I've been doing reselling for about 2 years now. And one of the things I'm doing is I thrift vintage jewelry. So I'm a vintage jewelry reseller. And so forth. And I sell other things too, like handbags and home decor, books, and all that stuff. You can always find my whole collection of what I thrift on Charles Vintage Collection. And so far, I do have a Square account. Everybody is familiar with Square, Safe, and all that. So the first thing we're going to talk about today is the material, and then we're going to get to that question about making jewelry. Okay. I've had this book for a long time. This is not my first big catalog. Back in the day, this is what Rio Grande did. You got free catalogs and so forth. And I'm the kind of person that like something in my hand. I don't want to have to go to the computer or my phone to research everything. And when I'm in the midst of coming up with a design, I like to, muddle through these books and so forth. This is a 2017, 2018. I've had other books and so forth. And when I moved from North Carolina, so much stuff got left behind. But anyway, this is Gems and Findings and so far. And I even called Rio Grande because I still have my same account. Believe it or not. I called them to see if they was, send out a book and so forth, an up-to-date book. And like I knew, they don't do that anymore. This book at least weighs 2 pounds. See how thick it is? And, these people were so great in the beginning with sending out these thick books to people who wanted them. Okay. Same thing with here, Far Mountain Gem. And so forth. This is my second greatest resource and reference book and so forth. These two companies, I will say, material-wise, they are the best two companies I know for jewelers of all kinds and everything. I got into this one here first, Far Mountain Gem, because it was easy for me to get in as a beaded jewelry maker. And then I wanted to explore more with the beaded jewelries and so forth, the gemstones and, all this and that and so forth. So I ended up with also Rio Grande. So I have two different accounts. I have an account with Far Mountain Gem and I have an account with Rio Grande. And these are great reference books. So if you do have them, don't ever throw them away and so forth, because they are reference books and so forth, so that you can always go online to order after you browse through here and get your designs and so forth and things like that. Okay. And one of the reasons I'm showing you this book is because I want to show you something else and so forth. So we're going to go ahead and get into the question and so forth. So let me see if I can find it real quick. Okay. Now, there are a couple ways that you can um, make rings. Let me explain that first before I show you the pictures and so forth. What I mean. Okay, as a beaded jewelry maker, it can save you some money if you're interested in adding your own range, your own design, your own personal touch to rings and things like that. As a reseller of thrift and vintage jewelry, I do have a lot of beautiful ring, sterling silver, designer brands, and so forth on my website. But usually what happens is, and so forth, when you are thrifting jewelry, this jewelry has already been out. You do have a whole lot of jewelry and so forth of that nature. Say like Kate Spade ring. This is an example. Kate Spade ring. Okay, it's got a nice little diamond to it and this and that and so forth. But you're not going to be the only one that have that ring. It's already been sold several times. And if you go and do the comps on it, you're going to see that it's still out there. Jewelry designers want to make their own specific design, which is individual designs that not everybody's going to have. And that's the whole thing. And so forth. Especially if you're a small jewelry designer, you want to be unique. Okay. So, when you are, okay, there is, like I said, several types of jewelry makers and so forth, bench jewelry maker, metalsmith jewelry maker, which is also a bench jewelry maker and so forth. There's beaded jewelry maker, which is me, and several other different kinds of jewelry making. Okay, but as a beaded jewelry maker, we're going to specify. As a beaded jewelry maker, if you want to add rings and stuff for your own specific design and yada yada into your design into your collection and so far, there's several ways you can do it. Okay, you can do it by using the ring mounts and so far. And ring mounts, let me show you what they are, which is what I was looking for. Okay, but we want ring mounts that are not already made. So let's get to that part. So you do have ring mounts and so forth that you can create yourself. You're not actually creating the ring, you are just actually creating the second part and so forth, which takes a lot of work out of it and so forth. As a bench jeweler or a metalsmith jeweler, we're just going to make the ring from scratch and so forth. As a beaded jewelry maker, you don't have that kind of access and so forth to make a ring from scratch. I mean, and all that. To do all the things that they do, you can make a ring from scratch, which is going to be my next thing. Okay, here we go. Found them. Okay, let's make sure you see them. Okay, these are called ring mounts and so forth. And as a beaded jewelry designer, you're going to find the right mount and so forth, and you're going to be setting all these setting your stones in these ring mounts, these ring mounts and so forth. So you're going to create what stone you want to put in there, and you're going to set that stone in there. You're going to choose the ring size. You're going to choose whether you want gold fill. You're going to choose whether you want sterling silver, and you're going to choose whatever stone it is to go in those rings and so forth. And those are 4 ways that you can make your own rings and so forth and include those rings into your collection. Okay. We all know that gold is more. And I looked over this over the weekend and so far. If you wanted a gold ring mount, it's gonna say about $200 some and whatever. I did find one for like $100 some, whatever, but you're gonna pay for gold. Gold is expensive, and if you're gonna pay $100 some for it, that is already a $500 ring. Okay, so then you're gonna want to choose and so forth. Now, Rio Grande sells diamonds as well. they sell diamonds and so far, and they will help you with picking up the diamond. You don't have to get the most expensive diamond. You can actually look it up and take the time and look it up yourself. If you want to put like a small diamond in, like a 1 carat, 3 carat, or something like that in one of your ring mounts and so far, you can do that and so far, and it will be less than buying it, and it will be a reseller item and so far. So the cost is not going to put you out so that you can't resell it and so far and everything. And the good thing about doing it with Rio Grande is that if you get the diamond, you know it's a diamond, and when they want to check to see if it's a diamond, they can check it, and it would be accurate and so far. Okay. So for you beaded jewelry lovers, that is one way, easy way to add rings into your collection. And so far is by choosing. They have gold. They got some platinum. They got sterling silver, and they got gold fill all in here and so far. And I think they even have some base metals such as gold and silver as well, and so forth. Beautiful ring mounts and so forth. That's what you want to ask for, if you have to call them, ask for ring mounts. Okay, the second way that you can do rings from scratch, and you can go completely to scratch and so forth if you want to be a more robust into the jewelry making and so forth. Okay, they do have the wires. You do got the wire for sterling silver. You still got the wire for gold fill, and this and that. And some of the wires are actually designed. I mean, they got a design to them and so forth. Now, so let me show you some of the tools you're going to have. And these are some of the tools that bench jeweler may have, and some metalsmith have. So that's what I'm saying. If you want to go robust and get into it and so far and really make your ring from scratch, this is another way even a jewelry maker can, beaded jewelry maker can do and so far. So that is one way that you can do it. And Farm Mountain Gem also sell ring mounts as well. Okay. And I broke this here and so far. So I do have some of the tools, and I'm not telling you anything that I haven't already done. Okay. This is your little saw, and as you can see here, I done broke this. They're very thin. This is one thing that you're going to have to train yourself with, how gentle to go and so forth when you're sewing your wires in half. And I like the wires and so forth instead of the sheets and everything, is so that you don't have to, do a long cutting. And the reason you want to do this is that you want to have a smooth cut, because when you have a smooth cut and so far, the wire is going to go together like this and so far, to make it easy for you to solder. And we're going to get into that in just a minute too. So yeah, this is robust and so far. So you're going to cut your wires and so forth after you measure and all this and that and so forth. Now you also need a tool to help bend the wire into a ring. I don't know if I brought that out or not, but you can easily get a tool. It is a tool where you can actually bend it into a ring and all that. So once you cut and so forth and you want to bend it into a ring, you can do that. Okay. That is one piece here. This here helped me out a lot. This is a ring holder and everything right there. You can put the ring here and everything. Or you can, like, either way, you can do that and so far. But this is the way I use it mainly, to hold the rings right there. And then you just slide this piece in and it holds it and so far. And it helps you to steady the ring and so forth when you want to do something to it and so far. So now let me show you what you can do. And you can hold this with one hand, and you can also put your solder on and so far. And then that as well. But if you can't do that, you can use this, mount this on your table or some other, I do have a thing under here too, that where you can screw this in, which will hold it steady and so forth and all that. And that will help you. This is for cutting your wire. If you you want to cut your wire evenly, this is going to help you to do that. That's going to be your first step, is cutting your wires evenly with the saw right here. So this is going to be the easy way to do that. Okay, and getting ahead of myself, this is the one to hold it once you cut it and all that. Now, I don't like messing with fire or using the thing, but you can use those little fire things, like matches when you go to grill, to stick in there to do it. You can get enough fire, I guess, to do that, but I never done it. What I chose to do, and so far, is to buy a electric jewelry sorter and so forth. And I got this one here not from Rio Grande, but from Fire Mountain Gem and so forth. And you can see that I've used it quite a bit and so forth. This is for fine jewelry. This is for sorting fine jewelry and things like that and so forth. If you're going to solder silver, you would need silver soldering. If you're going to use gold, you would need a gold soldering and so forth. And these ring mounts and so forth, you would still need a ring mount and so forth. Except not the whole ring mount, but you would need the let's see if I can get that real quick for you. Okay. Ooh. You may not have it, so I can get my hands on it quick enough. Oh, those earring pieces, don't want that. Don't want that. Trying to find individual ring mounts for you so that you know what I'm talking about. The ring mounts are like the prongs and so forth. If you're going to make the jewelry yourself, you will need some kind of mount on top of that and so forth. Usually a prong or a one of those round pieces and so forth to put your stone in and all that. So you would need to do a individual mount, a prong on top of the ring and for your stone. If you take that route into making your rings and so forth, you could you need to do that. Okay, I couldn't find it fast enough. I don't want to take up a whole lot of time here. One more little peek and see. Yeah. I meant to have a post-it note on all the things that I was going to show and so far, and forgot to do that and everything, but that's okay. I think it's going to be okay. Okay. They don't have a whole lot to choose from when it comes to, like right here, you're getting the full ring mount and so far. They only have like 4 choices in the gold fill, 5 choices in gold fill and so far. But gold, they have quite a few more items. Okay, here's some mounts and so forth here. Let's see, make sure those are the rings for rings, not earrings or anything. No. Okay, so I'm not going to be able to show them because I don't want to take up too much time. I don't want to take up too much time. Really, I don't. Okay. Okay. So anyway, we're gonna have to. Oh, okay. I did find it. Okay. You see those amounts. These are what you have to once you put your ring together, sort of your wire together. This is the mounts that you will also have to solder on top of the wire, the band, and so far to put that stone in. If you can see that, this is a silver one, or I don't know if it's sterling silver or silver. But anyway, that is what you want to do. Now, let's talk about the money and so forth. Okay. Um, 14 karat gold fill is going to be the way to go if you're just starting out, if you cannot afford actual real gold, because a lot of people love 14 karat gold fill. Karat gold fill takes so long to tarnish, if it does, and so far, that you would not have to worry about it and all that. And that is a good way to go. Sterling silver is still affordable, so you can actually buy the sterling silver and so far, and all that and so far. And once you get everything done, because you're gonna have to like file. Once you do the soldering, you need to do the pickering, and all that stuff. And these are some little tools here for my dermal, electric dermal thing right here in here. And these are things that where you're going to polish it, stuff like this. You're going to use to polish your ring and so forth once you put it together and all that stuff. And here is another little thing to help you to file. You can do electric file. Now I like using the little hand file, and you do it gently. You can rub to see if it's smooth enough and all that. Let's see if I can get my hands on one of those to show you those and everything. I think I can. I think I can. Yeah. Here is a package of little jewelry saws. And once you do your ring, choose one of these little saw here, and you can saw the dust, all the surface smooth. And the same thing when you put the other little mount on and so forth, you can use this, and it can get up under and so forth to smooth the ring down and all that. So now that's if you want to do some of the things that a bench jeweler do. You want to make your own ring and so forth. That's how you can do it. You can get all these things and so far. This did not cost much and so far. If you don't want to use a blowtorch and so forth, you can use this. This thing do get hotter than hot. You can see how I've used it and so far. You can also need these tools. Oops. These things do not cost a whole lot either, and they're good tools to have. And these are just some of the things that I did manage to save and bring with me in my bag and things like that. I did lose a lot of tools. I do have a lot of tools. I have a lot of hand tools scattered out from collecting for years and years and years. But this is how a jewelry maker can make their marks and so forth without buying a bunch of tools and so forth. You're going to have to spend money. You're going to have tools. But determining what type of jewelry maker you want to be or intend to be, and so it's going to determine what kind of tools and material you're going to need and so forth. So that is the issue there. Now, with the rings and so forth, if you buy one of the ring mounts and put in, a stone and so forth, because some of those stones is like $80 and so forth, so they're not cheap and so forth, and that's back in the day, so I'm pretty sure they're even more now. So these rings are not cheap rings and so forth that you're going to stone. And setting a stone is very, very easy, just as easy as beating a necklace. Okay, it is just that easy. Okay, so what you have to do is get in the practice of stone setting. You also have to get in practice of doing a little bit of welding and all that. Now, with just buying the ring mount, you can just set the stone and so forth, and then okay, you have about a $200-300 ring, depending on the material. If you get sterling silver, you get a paradox stone and so forth, you can at least get $200 and something on that and so far. Let's say you get a 14 karat gold field band mount and so far, and you put in your masticite, or you put in a paradox and so forth. These stones again is not cheap. So you put that in, that increases the value of that ring. So you're looking at couple hundred, maybe a couple $100, maybe even to $300 for that particular ring and so far, because you have the gold fill and then you have the authentic gemstone in there, which makes this ring more valuable. Okay. Now, if you take the longer route and make your ring by choosing your wire, sterling silver wire, smoothing each end, welding it together, then putting your little mount on top, your little stone setting mount on top and so forth, and then placing your stone in it and so forth. So that's, what you're going to be charging for is all that. So that is going to be, again, $200-300 and so forth for a ring and so forth. And it's just that simple if you know how to do it, or whatever steps you want to take and do it and so forth. What I usually do is I've done them both. The stone setting for the ring mounts, which already have the little stone setting mount on top. And I've also done the welding and made the ring, and all that, put all those steps to it and all that. So I've done them both, and I know as a beaded jeweler, you can do them both and so forth. I have the tools and so forth to show you, let you see that I have done it. So I hope that has answered your question about making a ring. It's going to save you a lot of money, a lot of tools by doing it this way and so forth, as opposed to now, if you want to be a bench jeweler, buy your stuff, start collecting your pieces, start collecting, because you can't get everything at one time. And being a bench jeweler is a little more complicated because you got all those machines and so forth. A pickling little electric container and so far, if you're going to take that route of making your rings and so forth, where you're going to use sorting, that's only one other thing I did have but don't have with me here. Okay. And if you want to be a metalsmith, jeweler and so forth, that's a lot more complicated too, and a lot more tools. Bench maker, a lot of tools. A metal jeweler, a lot of tools. A bead jewelry maker, you don't have to have as many tools and so far. And most of your tools are just small small tools. And any jeweler, a beaded jeweler or whatever, want a space to do the jewelry. You want a table. You want a table with drawers where you can put your beads, your tools in, and all that. So you definitely want to get that space and so forth to do it and so forth. But again, depending on what type of jewelry maker you want to be, it's going to depend on the tools and the material that you get and things like that. And in my business and so far as a jewelry maker and so far, these are all pretty much small tools. In North Carolina, I did have a small table and so far. Here, I don't. I use my table and so far when I want to make jewelry, or I make a space in here to do whatever jewelry piece that I have designed to do. So I don't have that here to do and so forth and things like that, but it still won't stop me from making jewelry and everything. And remember, I'm also a reseller because I am making, I'm thrifting vintage jewelry, which, sells pretty good for me and so far. But, the passion has done popped into me to make a few pieces and so far. And like I said, I will be making a few pieces every now, maybe like 1 or 2 pieces a month and so forth, and add to my store, add to my collection and all that and so far. And the reason I'm doing that is because, and this is the last step because I'm going on and on. Okay, this is the last step. Okay, and the reason I'm doing that is because the passion popped back into me, as I said, and I do want those individual pieces and so forth. And as I also said too, a jewelry maker wants individual, they want unique pieces and so forth. Now, as a jewelry reseller and so forth, thrifting vintage jewelry and so forth, I'm not going to find the pieces that I actually want. I'm finding good pieces and so forth. And some of those hauls, I find pieces worth $400 or $500 and so forth. I just got a Hermes bracelet. In the second market, it's up to $700 and so far. It's beautiful. It's in like new condition, no scratches on it or anything. And the prices start from $300 up to $700 and so far. That's what I found in my last jewelry haul. Okay, so I got that. It's on my website now and so far and everything. And I'm pretty sure it's going to sell, maybe not as quick as I want it to, but it's going to sell. But also, too, with that same bracelet that I just mentioned and so far, I mean, other people have it on their website, too. It is not just sold on my website. There's a couple of people that have that bracelet and so forth. And that's what I mean. When you selling your jewelry pieces, other people are not going to have it on their website. You are the only one that's going to have it on your website and so forth. And that's and that's what I want to bring also to my website is some individual unique pieces and so forth that only I have. So everything that I thrift and so forth and put on my website, somebody else has too, or had to and so forth. But everything I make, nobody is going to have that but me on my website and so forth. And that makes the difference to every jeweler. That makes the difference. And I thank you and keep your questions coming because, again, that will determine on the next jewelry discussion and so forth. I was so happy to see somebody actually had, like the first one ask questions so I can have the second one. And, it'll go on and on. As long as somebody wants to hear about this stuff, then I'll go ahead and put it out. And until the next time, I'll see you then. Bye. Baby, we found just who we are.